The lights inside the Valorn colony ship flickered again. Elder Vesh gripped the edge of his seat as another explosion shook the hull. Around him, the control room filled with smoke and the smell of burning circuits. Through the viewing screen, he could see 3 raider ships circling like predators around wounded prey. "Shields down to 12%, Captain Vorn reported. His voice stayed calm, but his hands shook as he worked the controls. "Hull breaches on deck 7 and 9. We are losing air." Elder Vesh looked at the faces around him. Young ones, old ones, families. 50,000 souls aboard the Gentle Tide. All of them counting on him to keep them safe. All of them about to die because he had led them through uncharted space. The communication panel crackled to life. A harsh voice filled the room, speaking in broken Valorn. "Surrender now. Give us your supplies, your technology, your fuel. We might let you live." Elder Vesh recognized the voice. Raider Commander Kretch of the Kravix. Stories about him spread across this sector of space. He took what he wanted and left nothing behind but empty ships and corpses. "We are a civilian vessel," Elder Vesh said into the communicator. "We have no weapons." "We mean no harm to anyone," Kretch laughed. The sound made Elder Vesh's skin crawl. "That is why this is easy. Open your cargo bay or we open it ourselves. You have 5 minutes." The communication cut off. Captain Vorn looked at Elder Vesh with desperate eyes. "What do we do?" Elder Vesh thought about his options. They could surrender, hand over everything they owned, and hope Kretch kept his word. But raiders never kept their word. They could try to run, but the Gentle Tide was a colony ship built for comfort and carrying supplies, not for speed. The raider ships would catch them in minutes, or they could call for help. "Send a distress signal," Elder Vesh said. "Use all frequencies. Emergency power to the transmitter." "Elder Vesh?" Captain Vorn said carefully. "We are outside Council space. The nearest patrol is 3 days away. They will not arrive in time." "I know," Elder Vesh said. "But we must try. Someone might hear us. Someone might care enough to help." Captain Vorn nodded. His fingers flew across the control panel, opening channels, boosting power to their communication array. "Signal broadcasting now. All frequencies." Repeating loop. The message went out into the darkness of space. A simple plea in their language, translated into every common galactic tongue their computer knew. "Help us, please. We are under attack. Civilians in danger. Help us." Elder Vesh did not know that their computer, damaged by the raider weapons, had opened frequencies it should not have touched. Did not know their signal was bouncing across relay stations, spreading farther than intended. Did not know that in a distant corner of space, on a world the Galactic Council barely acknowledged, someone was listening. Lieutenant Ji-Won Lee was halfway through her night shift at Earth Defense Command when her screen lit up. She had been monitoring the deep space frequencies, a boring job that usually involved listening to cosmic radiation and the occasional automated beacon. Now her screen showed a signal, weak and distorted but definitely artificial. She put on her headset and cleaned up the audio. Through the static she heard words. Not English, not any Earth language, but her translation software kicked in after a few seconds. "Help us. Under attack. 50,000 civilians. Please, someone help." Ji-Won felt her heart speed up. She ran the signal through analysis. Origin point. Outside known space beyond the frontier zones. Distance approximately 40 light-years. Signal strength. Extremely weak, would not have reached Earth except for some lucky relay bounces. She checked the time. 0300 hours. Admiral Sung-Ho Kim would be asleep in his quarters. But this could not wait. Ji-Won picked up the secure line. "This is Lieutenant Lee in communications. I need to wake the Admiral. Priority alert." "Stand by," the voice on the other end said. 2 minutes later, Admiral Kim's voice came through, rough with sleep, but instantly focused. "Report, Lieutenant." "Sir, we have picked up a distress signal. Unknown origin, unknown species. They are under attack by what sounds like raiders or pirates. Civilians in danger." "Play it for me." Ji-Won routed the audio through. She heard silence on the other end as Admiral Kim listened to the frightened voices begging for help. "How far?" Admiral Kim asked. 40 light-years, sir. Outside our normal patrol range. Outside Council space entirely. Can we verify it is real? The signal patterns match standard distress protocols. The fear in their voices sounds real, sir. My analysis shows it is not a trap." More silence. Ji-Won knew what the Admiral was thinking. Earth had only been in space for 70 years. They were new to this galaxy, still learning the rules. The Galactic Council had made it clear that humans should stay in their own sector. not interfere in affairs beyond their borders. But Earth had one rule that came before all others. One rule that every human learned from childhood, that was written into their military codes and their civilian laws. You never abandon someone who calls for help. You never let someone die alone when you can save them. Wake the fleet, Admiral Kim said. Full mobilization. I want every combat-ready ship prepared for jump in 30 minutes. Jiwon's hand froze over her controls. Sir, the entire fleet? For one distress call? Someone is dying out there, Lieutenant. Someone called for help and we heard them. We do not do things halfway. If we are going with enough force to handle whatever we find. Understood? Yes, sir. Jiwon's fingers flew across her keyboard. Authorization codes flashed. Priority alerts went out to every ship in the defense fleet. From the smallest patrol corvette to the massive carriers, crews woke to red alert sirens and scrambled to their stations. In his quarters, Admiral Sung-Ho Kim dressed quickly in his uniform. He was 52 years old, a veteran of the colonial defense wars, a man who had seen combat on 3 different worlds. He had sent people into danger before. He had ordered strikes that ended lives. But he had never abandoned anyone who asked for help. He walked onto the bridge of his flagship 20 minutes later. Officers snapped to attention. Status report, he said, settling into his command chair. All ships reporting ready, sir, his executive officer said. 847 vessels ready for jump on your command. Course plotted to distress signal origin. Admiral Kim looked at the tactical display. 847 ships. The entire Earth defense fleet. Every carrier, every battleship, every cruiser, destroyer, and frigate Earth had built. It was massive overkill for a rescue mission. The Galactic Council would be furious. They would say Earth was overreaching, violating unwritten rules, showing off their military strength. Admiral Kim did not care. Open a fleet-wide channel, he said. Channel open. Sir, this is Admiral Kim to all vessels. We have received a distress call from civilians under attack. We do not know these people. We do not know what we will find when we arrive. But someone out there is scared and dying, and they asked for help. We are humans. We answer every call. We leave no one behind. All ships prepare for jump. He looked at the helmsman. Take us to them. Maximum speed. Yes, sir. Space rippled. Energy built around 847 ships. And then, in a flash of light that could be seen from 100 systems, the entire human armada jumped to faster-than-light speed. 40 light-years away, Elder Vesh stared at his screen, watching the timer count down. 2 minutes until Kretsch's deadline expired. The distress signal was still broadcasting, unanswered. No one was coming. They would die here alone in the dark. He did not know that help was already on the way. He did not know that he had accidentally contacted the most dangerous species in the galaxy. He did not know that the Deathworlders were coming, and they were bringing everyone. The cargo bay doors of the Gentle Tide began to open. Elder Vesh had given the order himself, hands shaking as he pressed the controls. They had no choice. Kretsch's deadline had passed, and the raider ships were preparing to force their way inside. Around him, the Valorn crew stood in frightened silence. These were farmers and engineers, teachers and doctors. They knew how to build homes on new worlds, how to grow food in alien soil, how to treat sickness and teach children. They did not know how to fight. Through the viewing screen, Elder Vesh watched the raider ships move closer. They were ugly things, all weapons and armor, built for violence. One of them was positioning itself to dock with the Gentle Tide. They are coming aboard, Captain Vorn said quietly. Elder Vesh nodded. He thought about telling his people to cooperate, to give the raiders what they wanted, to stay alive any way they could. But the words stuck in his throat. He knew what was coming. Raiders like Kretsch did not just take supplies. They took everything. The communication panel crackled again. Kretsch's voice oozed with satisfaction. Smart choice, Elder. Now we can do this the easy way. My soldiers will come aboard. You will give us access to your computers, your cargo holds, your... Commander. Another voice interrupted on the Raider channel. Sensors are detecting incoming ships, Kretsch sounded annoyed. How many? 1, 2? Tell them we are busy here and they should move along. Sir, it is more than 1 or 2. It is. Sir, my sensors must be broken. This cannot be right. What cannot be right? Kretsch snapped. The number of ships incoming, sir. My screen shows hundreds of contacts. Approaching fast. Elder Vesh felt a strange flutter in his chest. Hope? Fear? He could not tell. Captain Vorn was already at the sensor station, his eyes going wide. Elder Vesh, Captain Vorn whispered. Something is coming out of FTL, multiple contacts. Very close now. The space around the gentle tide suddenly exploded with light. Not weapon fire, jump signatures. Dozens of them at first, then hundreds as ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel in perfect formation. Elder Vesh stared at the screen. His mind could not process what his eyes were seeing. Ships. So many ships. They stretched across space in organized patterns, surrounding the gentle tide and the raider vessels. Small fast attack ships, medium cruisers, massive carriers that dwarfed even the gentle tide. How many? He asked, his voice barely working. Captain Vorn checked his sensors 3 times before answering. 847 ships, Elder Vesh. They just appeared. The raider communication channel had gone silent except for confused shouting. Elder Vesh could hear panic in their voices. Then a new voice cut through all the channels. Clear comm speaking in Galactic Standard with a strange accent Elder Vesh had never heard before. Attention hostile forces. This is Admiral Sung Ho Kim of the Earth Defense Fleet. You are targeting civilians under our protection. Stand down your weapons immediately and prepare to be boarded. You have 3 minutes to comply. Earth. Elder Vesh knew that name. Every species in the galaxy knew that name, though most had never seen a human. The Deathworlders. The species from the Hell planet that the Galactic Council feared to acknowledge. The predators who had climbed to the top of the food chain on a world that tried to kill everything. And Elder Vesh had accidentally called them. Captain Hai Jin Park stood on the bridge of her ship, the Indomitable, and studied the tactical display. The raider vessels were larger than her cruiser, with heavier armor and bigger guns. But she had fought against worse odds before. All weapons hot, she said to her crew. Shields at maximum. Stay in formation with the fleet. Wait for the Admiral's order. Her tactical officer, a young man named Dongwu, looked up from his station. Captain, the raiders are not powering down their weapons. In fact, they are charging them up, Hijin smiled. It was not a kind smile. Of course they are. They think they can win, can they? Dongwu asked. No. On the command channel, Admiral Kim's voice spoke again. Captain Park, status report. Ready to engage, sir. All fleet elements in position. The civilians are located in the large ship at the center. 3 hostile vessels surrounding them. Raiders are not complying with our orders. Understood. Weapons free on my command. But remember, there are civilians in the middle of this. Precision strikes only. We save lives today, not end them. Yes, sir. Hijin switched to a different channel. This one broadcast on all frequencies. Loud enough that everyone in the area would hear it. She spoke in Galactic Standard slowly and clearly. This is Captain Hai Jin Park of the Earth vessel Indomitable. To the civilian ship, we are here to help you. Stay in your vessel and keep your shields raised. We will handle this. To the raiders, you have made a mistake. A very bad mistake. You attacked civilians. That makes you our enemy. Last chance to surrender. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Kretsch's voice came through and he was laughing. Earth? The soft little predators from the edge of space. You think you scare us? Look at your ships. Tiny things. We have fought and beaten species far stronger than you. Go home, little humans, before you get hurt. Hijin looked at her crew. They looked back at her with steady eyes. They had all heard the same insults before, soft, weak, prey animals playing at war. Other species looked at humans and saw nothing scary. They did not have claws or fangs. They did not have thick armor or natural weapons. They looked small and fragile. Those species learned their mistake quickly. Fire, Admiral Kim said over the fleet channel. The space around the gentle tide lit up with weapons fire, but it was not the wild spray of desperate combat. Every shot was calculated, precise, targeted. Human ships moved like dancers, like pack hunters who had trained together for years. The raider ships fired back, their heavy cannons sending massive blasts toward the human fleet. But the human ships were not where the raiders expected. They moved fast, changing direction, working together. A corvette would draw fire while a destroyer lined up a shot. A cruiser would drop its shields for half a second to charge weapons, trusting its sister ships to cover it. And the human weapons found their targets. Raider shields sparked and failed. Hull plating cracked. Engine ports exploded. They are trying to target the civilian ship, Dongwu reported. Intercept pattern Delta, Hai Jin ordered. Put ourselves between them and the civilians. The Indomitable surged forward along with 6 other ships. They formed a wall between the gentle tide and the raiders. When one raider ship tried to fire at the Velorn, Its shot hit the Indomitable's shields instead. Shield strength down to 70%, Dongwu said. Hold position, Heejin said. They will not touch that civilian ship while we are here. On the gentle tide, Elder Vesh watched the battle with his mouth open. He had seen combat before, watched recordings of Galactic Council peacekeepers engaging pirates. That had been organized, professional, efficient. This was different. The humans moved like they were one organism with 847 bodies. They protected the gentle tide like it was one of their own ships, putting themselves in danger without hesitation. Why? Captain Vorn whispered beside him. Why would they risk their lives for us? They do not even know us. Elder Vesh had no answer. The battle was turning quickly. The raiders had bigger ships, stronger shields, heavier weapons. But the humans had something else: speed, precision, and a willingness to take hits to protect the innocent. One raider ship tried to run. It broke formation and aimed for open space. 3 human destroyers pursued it, their weapons taking out its engines in seconds. It drifted, helpless. Another raider ship focused all its fire on a single human cruiser, determined to destroy at least one enemy. The cruiser's shields failed. Weapons tore into its hull, but before the raider could finish the job, 20 other human ships swarmed it from all sides. The raider ship disappeared under a storm of precise fire. Commander Kretsch's voice came over the communication channel again. The laughter was gone now. Retreat! All ships retreat! But there was nowhere to go. The human fleet surrounded them completely. Every escape route was blocked. Admiral Kim is hailing the raiders again, Captain Vorn said. Elder Vesh listened to the human admiral's voice. It was still calm, still measured, but now there was steel underneath. You attacked civilians. You threatened the helpless. You fired on my ships. Your chance to surrender has passed. Disable your weapons and prepare to be boarded, or we will disable them for you. Choose now. For 10 long seconds, nothing happened. Then one by one, the raider ships powered down their weapons. It was over. Commander Tae-min Choi checked his helmet seals one more time before boarding the assault shuttle. Around him, 49 other Marines did the same, their movements quick and practiced. They had done this 100 times in training, 20 times in real combat. Boarding a hostile vessel was always dangerous, but it was what they trained for. Listen up, Tae-min said over the squad channel. The raiders have surrendered, but we treat this like a hot entry anyway. They are bigger than us, probably stronger. They have claws and natural armor. What do we have? Brains, sir, someone called back. Teamwork, sir, another voice added. And really big guns, a third Marine said, getting a few laughs. All of that, Tae-min agreed. Remember your training. We move as units. Cover your partners. Use the environment. These raiders think they are apex predators. Show them what real apex predators look like. Move out. The shuttle detached from the Indomitable and crossed the short distance to the nearest raider ship. Tae-min watched through the front viewport as they approached. The raider vessel was ugly up close, all sharp angles and weapon mounts. It looked like it was built to hurt things. Boarding tube connecting, the pilot announced. Seal confirmed. You are good to go, Commander. Tae-min was first through the airlock. His rifle was up, covering the corridor beyond. Behind him, his team flowed through in perfect formation. 2 covering high, 2 covering low, the rest moving to secure positions. The corridor was empty. Dark metal walls, low lighting. Air that smelled like chemicals and something rotten. Atmosphere is breathable but not pleasant. One of his Marines reported, checking her scanner. No immediate contacts, but I am reading life signs deeper in the ship. Stay alert, Tae-min said. They may have surrendered, but scared people do stupid things. They moved through the ship carefully. At every intersection, they paused. 2 Marines would cover while the others crossed. Simple tactics, but they kept everyone alive. The first contact came at a junction near the ship's center. 3 Kravix raiders stepped out, their hands raised. Tae-min got his first good look at the species. They were big, nearly 2.5 meters tall, with thick scaled skin and arms that ended in claws. Muscles rippled under their armor. They looked like they could tear a human apart with their bare hands. On the ground, Tae-min ordered, his rifle pointed at the center raider. Face down, hands behind your head. The raiders looked at each other. The largest one spoke in rough galactic standard. You are small, weak, we could kill you before you fired. Tae-min did not lower his rifle. Maybe. But there are 50 of us on this ship and only one of you. And even if you killed me, my people would kill you. Slowly. Now get on the ground. Something in Taemin's voice must have convinced them. The raiders lowered themselves to the floor. 2 Marines moved forward with restraints while the rest kept their weapons ready. "Clear," one Marine reported after securing the prisoners. They continued deeper into the ship. Taemin could hear sounds now, shouting, things breaking. The raiders were panicking, probably arguing about what to do. The team reached the bridge to find 20 raiders crowded inside, armed with various weapons. Commander Kretsch stood in the center, his scaled face twisted with anger. "Back!" he roared when he saw the humans. "Back or we will kill you!" Taemin assessed the situation quickly. The doorway was a fatal funnel, too narrow to push through. The raiders had cover behind their stations. A straight assault would cost lives. "We do not want to kill you," Taemin said calmly. "But we will if you force us." "Put down your weapons," Kretsch laughed. It was an ugly sound. "You think you can take us? Look at you. Little soft things. We are Kravix, warriors of the Outer Rim. We have conquered a dozen systems. You are nothing." "Interesting," Taemin said. He signaled to his team with hand gestures. "Can I ask you a question, Commander Kretsch?" "What?" "Have you ever wondered why we don't have claws? Why we don't have scales or natural armor?" Kretsch stared at him, confused by the question. "It is because we did not need them," Taemin continued. "Every other predator on our world had claws and fangs and armor. So we developed something better." He tapped his head. "We learned to think, to plan, to work together, and we learned to change our environment instead of adapting to it." He pressed a button on his wrist control. Throughout the raider ship, the human techs who had quietly accessed the vessel's systems activated their programs. The lights on the bridge went out. Emergency lighting kicked in, but it was dim and red. The artificial gravity shut off, leaving everyone floating. The air vents opened, starting to suck the atmosphere toward the outer hull. The raiders panicked. They were warriors, yes, but they were used to fighting on the ground in gravity, with air to breathe. Suddenly weightless and gasping, they flailed around, trying to orient themselves. The humans did not panic. They had trained for zero-gravity combat. Taemin and his Marines used their suit thrusters to position themselves, their magnetic boots finding purchase on the walls and ceiling. They moved through the raiders like ghosts, disarming them efficiently while they struggled to breathe. Within 2 minutes, every raider on the bridge was restrained. Taemin reactivated the gravity and atmosphere controls. "Like I said," he told Kretsch as the raider commander gasped on the floor, "we change our environment. We use tools. We work together. That is what makes us apex predators." On the gentle tide, Elder Vesh watched the human boarding operations on his sensors. Other human teams had secured the remaining raider ships just as efficiently. No raiders killed unless they fought back. No humans killed at all. It was surgical, precise, professional. "They are terrifying," Captain Vorn said quietly. "Yes," Elder Vesh agreed, "but they are terrifying on our behalf. They came to save us." A new voice spoke over the communication channel, this one female and gentle. "Attention, Gentle Tide. This is Dr. Mi-sun Kang of the Earth Defense Fleet. We are sending medical teams to assist with your wounded. May we have permission to dock?" Elder Vesh looked at Captain Vorn, who nodded. "Yes, please. We have injuries on decks 7 and 9, and many people who are scared." "We understand," Dr. Kang said. "We are coming now. Do not be afraid. We are here to help." The human medical shuttle docked smoothly. Elder Vesh went to the airlock himself to meet them. The door opened and he got his first look at a human in person. Dr. Kang was small, barely reaching Elder Vesh's chest. She had dark hair pulled back from her face and kind eyes. She wore a white uniform marked with red crosses. Behind her came a team of other humans, all carrying medical equipment. "Hello," she said, bowing slightly. "I am Dr. Kang. You must be Elder Vesh. Your translation program told us your language, but please let me know if we are not speaking clearly." "You speak very clearly," Elder Vesh said. He realized he was staring. "Forgive me. I have never met a human before." "And I have never met a Velorn before," Dr. Kang said with a warm smile. "Perhaps we can learn from each other. But first you're wounded." "Where are they?" Elder Vesh led her to the medical bay. The scene inside was chaotic. Injured Velorn lay on beds or sat against walls, being treated by overwhelmed medical staff. Burns, broken bones, cuts from flying debris. Dr. Kang did not hesitate. She moved into the room with her team, assessing injuries, giving orders. Her hands were steady as she worked, treating Valorn patients with the same care she would give to humans. "This one needs surgery," she told one of her team, indicating a young Valorn with internal injuries. "Prep a space. I will operate here if we must, but better if we can move him to our ship where we have better equipment." "Is that safe?" Elder Vesh asked. "To move him?" Dr. Kang looked at him seriously. "Yes, I promise you we will take care of him. We do not let anyone die if we can save them. That is our way." Over the next hours, Elder Vesh watched the humans work. They moved through the gentle tide like they belonged there, helping with repairs, treating the wounded, even bringing food from their own ships for the frightened Valorn children. Commander Taemin Choi came aboard to report that all raiders were secured. He was covered in dirt and what looked like dried blood, but he took time to speak gently to the Valorn who were scared of him. "Where is Admiral Kim?" Elder Vesh asked. "On his flagship," Taemin said, "but he wants to speak with you if you feel up to it." "He can come here or you can go there." "Your choice," Elder Vesh thought about it. These humans had saved his people. The least he could do was meet their leader face to face. "I will come to him." The shuttle ride to the human flagship was short but gave Elder Vesh a view of the fleet. Up close, the human ships looked even more impressive. Organized, powerful, covered in weapons and armor. Admiral Sung Ho Kim met him in the docking bay. He was an older human, his hair graying, his face lined with years of experience, but his eyes were sharp and kind. "Elder Vesh," the Admiral said, bowing the same way Dr. Kang had. "Welcome aboard the Incheon. I am glad you are safe." "Thanks to you," Elder Vesh said. "Admiral Kim, I do not understand. Why did you come?" "We are strangers to you." Admiral Kim smiled. It made him look younger. "You called for help. We heard you. That is all the reason we needed." The conference room on the Incheon was simple but comfortable. Elder Vesh sat across from Admiral Kim, with Captain Hyejin Park and Commander Taemin Choi at the table as well. Through the window he could see the gentle tide, now surrounded by human repair ships instead of raiders. "The damage to your vessel is extensive but fixable," Admiral Kim said, sliding a data pad across the table. "Our engineers say 3 days for critical systems, maybe a week for full repairs. You are welcome to stay with the fleet until then." Elder Vesh looked at the repair assessment. It was detailed, professional, written in a way he could understand. "This is very kind, but I must ask, Admiral, what do you want in return?" Admiral Kim frowned. "In return? Payment, compensation, you saved us. You risked your ships and your people. Surely there must be a price." The three humans looked at each other. Captain Park spoke first. "Elder Vesh, we did not come here for payment. We came because you needed help." "But that makes no sense," Elder Vesh said, trying to keep frustration out of his voice. "Nothing in the galaxy is free. Every species trades, bargains, negotiates. The Galactic Council operates on agreements and contracts. You must want something." Admiral Kim leaned back in his chair. "Let me tell you a story. When humans first went to space, we brought our values with us. One of the oldest human values is simple. You help people in trouble. You do not walk past someone who is drowning. You do not ignore someone calling for help. Where I come from on Earth, we have a saying. We are all in this together. That means your problem is my problem. Your danger is my danger. But we are not human," Elder Vesh said quietly. "We are not your people." "You are people," Admiral Kim said firmly. "That is enough. When you sent that distress call, you became our responsibility, not because of a contract or an agreement, because it is right." Elder Vesh felt something in his chest, an emotion he could not name. The Valorn were a peaceful species. They helped each other, cared for their communities, but they had always assumed that kindness ended at the borders of their own kind. The idea that strangers would cross 40 light years to save people they had never met was alien to him. "I do not know what to say," he admitted. "You do not need to say anything," Captain Park said gently. "Just rest, heal, let us help." A communication panel on the wall chimed. Admiral Kim touched it. "Yes, sir. We are receiving a transmission from the Galactic Council. Ambassador Thel wishes to speak with you. He says it is urgent." Admiral Kim sighed. "Of course he does. Put him through." The wall screen activated, showing an alien Elder Vesh recognized. Ambassador Thel was a Vexian, a species that held significant power in the Council. He had blue-gray skin and 4 arms, all of which he was gesturing with in agitation. "Admiral Kim," Thel said, his voice tight with barely controlled anger. "What have you done?" "We responded to a distress call. Admiral Kim said calmly. Civilians were under attack. We intervened. You brought your entire fleet into neutral space without authorization. Thel's forearms waved. You engaged in combat outside your designated sector. You have violated a dozen council protocols. With respect, Ambassador, we are not part of your council. We do not need your permission to help people in danger. You need permission to wage war in neutral space. The council has been monitoring this situation. We saw 847 warships appear out of nowhere. Do you understand how that looks? How threatening that is? Admiral Kim's expression did not change. We did not come to threaten anyone. We came to help. If the council finds that threatening, perhaps the council should consider why. Thel's skin darkened, a sign of frustration in his species. This is not a game, Admiral. There are rules to galactic society, procedures, diplomacy. You cannot simply charge in with an armada every time you hear a distress call. Why not? Admiral Kim asked simply. The question seemed to stun Thel. What? Why not? Admiral Kim repeated. Why should we not help people in danger? What rule says we should ignore a cry for help? What procedure is more important than saving lives? The rule of stability, Thel said, recovering. The galaxy has peace because species respect boundaries and follow protocols. If everyone acted as you did, there would be chaos. If everyone acted as we did, there would be no raiders preying on civilians. Admiral Kim countered. There would be no unanswered distress calls. No one would die alone in the dark because helping them would violate a protocol. Thel was silent for a moment. When he spoke again, his voice was quieter. Admiral, I understand your intentions were good, but you have frightened the Council. Many species now believe humans are a threat. They see your fleet and they see conquerors. Then they are not looking carefully, Captain Park said, speaking up. Conquerors destroy. We rescued. Conquerors take, we gave. If the Council cannot see the difference, that is not our problem. Thel looked directly at Elder Vesh. And you, Elder Vesh? The humans acted on your behalf. Do you believe they are saviors or threats? Elder Vesh met the ambassador's gaze. He thought about the last few hours. About Dr. Kang treating his wounded with gentle hands. About Commander Choi restraining raiders without killing them. About Admiral Kim refusing payment for doing what was right. They are the reason my people are alive, Elder Vesh said clearly. They crossed the galaxy for strangers. They risked their lives for people they had never met. If the Council sees that as a threat, then the Council has forgotten what it means to be civilized. Thel's expression was unreadable. I see. Admiral Kim, the Council will be discussing this matter. You should expect a formal summons. We will be here, Admiral Kim said. Helping these people repair their ship. You know where to find us. The screen went dark. Admiral Kim rubbed his eyes, suddenly looking tired. Well, that could have gone better. You told the truth, Elder Vesh said. That is all you could do. The truth does not always make you popular, Commander Choi said with a slight smile. But it lets you sleep at night. Over the next 3 days, Elder Vesh watched the humans work. Their engineers swarmed over the gentle tide, repairing systems, replacing damaged sections, even upgrading some components that had been outdated. They worked alongside Valorn crews, teaching them techniques, sharing knowledge freely. Dr. Kang and her medical team treated every injury, even minor ones. They were patient and kind, learning about Valorn biology as they worked. When one young Valorn girl was scared of the strange human doctors, Kang sat with her for an hour, telling her stories about Earth until the child felt safe enough to be treated. Lieutenant Jiwon Lee helped establish proper communication systems between the two species. She was young and enthusiastic, excited to learn about Valorn culture and language. She taught Elder Vesh's people about Earth, about the history of humans, about their journey to the stars. We almost destroyed ourselves, Jiwon said one afternoon, sitting with a group of curious Valorn. Before we went to space, we fought wars on Earth. Terrible wars. Millions died. We came very close to extinction. What changed? A young Valorn asked. We realized we had a choice, Jiwon said. We could keep fighting each other or we could work together. We could compete or we could cooperate. We chose cooperation. It was not easy. It took time. But we learned that we are stronger together than apart. And when we finally went to space, we brought that lesson with us. Elder Vesh listened from a doorway, not wanting to interrupt. He understood now why humans had come. It was not just about helping strangers. It was about the kind of species they wanted to be. the kind of galaxy they wanted to live in. On the third day, Admiral Kim invited Elder Vesh to his quarters for a private meal. The food was human cuisine, simple but delicious. They ate in comfortable silence for a while. "Your ship will be ready tomorrow," Admiral Kim said finally. "Better than it was before, according to our engineers. You can continue your journey. Where will you go?" Elder Vesh asked. "Home, probably. We have been away from Earth for several days now. The Council will want to talk, though I am not sure we will like what they have to say." Admiral Kim smiled. "But that is our problem, not yours." "It is my problem," Elder Vesh said firmly. "You saved us. The least I can do is speak for you to the Council. Tell them what really happened here. Would they listen? I do not know. But I will try." "It is what you would do." Admiral Kim looked at him with something that might have been respect. "Thank you, Elder Vesh. That means more than you know." 3 months after the rescue of the Gentle Tide, Elder Vesh stood in the Galactic Council chamber and wondered how everything had changed so quickly. The chamber was enormous, built to hold representatives from 200 species. Today it was full. Everyone wanted to hear about the humans. "Elder Vesh," Ambassador Thel said from his seat on the council floor, "you have requested to speak about the incident involving Earth forces. The council recognizes you." Elder Vesh walked to the center platform. Around him, hundreds of eyes watched, some curious, some fearful, some angry. He took a breath and began. 3 months ago, my colony ship was attacked by raiders. We sent a distress call, not expecting anyone to hear it. But someone did. The humans came. All of them. 800 ships to save 50,000 people they had never met. He paused. "The council calls this an incident. I call it a miracle. A threatening miracle," a voice called from the upper seats. "Representative Koth of the Drexian Confederacy. 800 warships appearing without warning. How do we know they were not there to conquer? To claim that sector for themselves? Because they left," Elder Vesh said simply. "They repaired our ship. They treated our wounded. They took prisoners instead of killing enemies. And when they were done, they asked for nothing and returned to their space. Does that sound like conquerors to you?" "It sounds like a show of force," another representative said. "A demonstration of military power. The humans wanted the galaxy to see their fleet. Or perhaps they simply wanted to save lives." Elder Vesh countered. "Why must we assume the worst? Why can we not accept that some species still believe in helping others?" The chamber erupted in argument. Elder Vesh stepped down, his part done. He had spoken his truth. Whether the council believed him was another matter. He walked through the corridors outside the chamber, past groups of representatives arguing about humanity. Some wanted to invite Earth to join the council. Others wanted to ban humans from neutral space entirely. A few even suggested preemptive military action, though those voices were quieter now that everyone had seen what the human fleet could do. His personal communicator chimed. A message from Captain Vorn on the Gentle Tide, now safely at the Valorn homeworld. "Elder, you need to see this. Sending you news feeds." Elder Vesh accessed the data on his pad and froze. The news was from dozens of systems, all reporting the same thing. Raider attacks had dropped by 70% across the outer sectors. Pirates were abandoning their territories. Criminal organizations were fleeing toward the far edges of known space. One news report showed an interview with a former pirate. "Would you return to raiding?" the reporter asked. The pirate's multiple eyes went wide with fear. "Are you insane? I am not going near any trade routes now. What if there are civilians? What if they call the humans?" Another report showed a trading station that had been plagued by raiders for years. The station master said simply, "We broadcast that we have communications with Earth." The raiders left the next day. They have not come back. Elder Vesh realized what was happening. The humans had not just saved one colony ship. They had changed the equation for every criminal in the galaxy. Before, raiders knew they could attack the weak with little risk. Now every attack carried the possibility that 800 human warships might appear. The galaxy was becoming safer, and the humans had not fired a single shot beyond that first battle. On Earth, Admiral Sung Ho Kim sat in a conference room at Defense Command, watching the same news reports. Across from him sat Admiral Hai-Jin Park, recently promoted for her leadership during the rescue mission. "We have received 43 requests for protection agreements," Hai-Jin said, reading from her pad. "Everything from colony worlds to trading consortiums. They all want to know if we will respond if they are attacked." "What have we told them?" Sung Ho asked. The same thing we tell everyone. If they send a distress call and we hear it, we will respond. We do not need treaties or agreements. We just need to hear someone asking for help. Sung Ho nodded. It was the right answer. Earth had not sought to become the galaxy's protector. They had simply acted according to their values, and the rest had followed naturally. What about the Council? He asked, still debating. Ambassador Thel has proposed a compromise. They will officially acknowledge Earth's right to respond to distress calls, if we agree to inform them when we do so. Not ask permission, just inform. That seems reasonable. There is one other thing, Hyejin said carefully. We are receiving distress calls now. Not accidents like the first one. Deliberate calls from species who know we exist and know we respond. Sung Ho looked at her. How many? This week? 7. 3 pirate attacks, 2 territorial disputes, 1 natural disaster, and 1 medical emergency. And we responded? Where we could. We sent relief supplies to the natural disaster, medical teams to the emergency, patrol ships to the pirate attacks. We did not send the full fleet, just what was needed. Sung Ho stood and walked to the window, looking out over the city. Somewhere out there in the vast darkness of space, people were in trouble, and they were calling Earth, calling for help, trusting that someone would come. We need more ships, he said. If we are going to answer these calls, we need to expand the fleet. More patrol vessels, more medical ships, more transports. The government is already working on it, Hyejin said. Production has tripled. We will have 200 new ships ready within the year. Good. And we need to train other species, share our tactics, our technology. We cannot be everywhere at once. Some council members are opposed to that. They fear we are building an empire. Sung Ho turned back to her. We are not building an empire. We are building a safer galaxy. There is a difference. Commander Taemin Choi stood on the bridge of his new ship, the Defender, watching a training exercise. With him were officers from 6 different species, all learning human combat tactics. It had been his idea, supported by Admiral Kim. If humans were going to respond to every crisis, they needed allies who shared their values and methods. Why do you teach us to fight? One of the alien officers asked during a break. She was Velorn, one of the first to volunteer after the rescue of the Gentle Tide. We thought humans wanted peace. We do want peace, Taemin said. But peace is not the absence of conflict. It is the presence of justice. Sometimes, to protect the innocent, you must be willing to fight. But you fight with discipline, with control, with rules. You never become the monster you are fighting against. The Valoran officer nodded slowly. It is harder than I thought it would be. Learning to be a warrior. Good, Taemin said. Being a warrior should never be easy. The moment it becomes easy, you have lost something important, something human. Dr. Misun Kang was on the Valoran homeworld teaching at their medical academy. Around her, young Valoran doctors listened carefully as she explained trauma medicine techniques developed on Earth. On our world, she told them, we learned medicine in the worst possible conditions. Wars, disasters, accidents. We had to develop ways to save lives when resources were limited, when time was running out, when the situation was desperate. That knowledge came at a terrible cost. But now we can share it with you so you do not have to learn the same hard lessons we did. After the lecture, an elderly Valoran doctor approached her. Dr. Kang, may I ask you something personal? Of course. Why do you care? Why does Earth care? You are safe in your own space. You could ignore the rest of the galaxy and live peacefully. Why risk yourselves for us? Misun thought about it. She remembered the night they received the distress call. When she had been awakened to prepare medical teams, she had not questioned it, had not hesitated. It was simply what you did. Because we believe something very simple, she said finally. We believe that all life has value, not just human life, all life. And we believe that if you can help someone, you should. It is not complicated. It is not political. It is just right. The old doctor smiled. Your species is very strange, Dr. Kang, but I am glad you exist. On the bridge of the Incheon, Lieutenant Ji-Won Lee monitored the communication channels. It had become her job, listening for distress calls, coordinating responses. The job that had once been boring had become the most important position in the fleet. Her screen lit up with a new signal. She enhanced it, cleaned up the static, ran it through translation. This is the merchant vessel Silver Dawn. We are under attack by unknown vessels, requesting immediate assistance. Coordinates attached. Ji-Won checked the location. 18 light-years away, outside council space again, and according to sensors, there were no council ships nearby. She picked up the secure line. Admiral Kim was on Earth, but Admiral Park was on duty. Admiral, we have a distress call. Merchant ship under attack. Sending you the details now. There was a pause. Then Admiral Park's voice came through, calm and certain. How many ships do we have in that sector? 3 patrol cruisers, sir. About 2 hours away. Send them. Tell the Silver Dawn help is coming. And G1? Yes, sir. Good work. You might have just saved some lives tonight. G1 ended the call and sent the orders. She watched on her tactical display as 3 human ships changed course, accelerating toward the distress call. Somewhere out there, scared people were waiting, hoping someone would help. They did not know yet that help was already coming.